Okay. We are here, Nerdcamp Sports, and we're back with another episode. Been a little minute, but we're here. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good, man. Excited to be back, man. Got a lot of things to cover, so ready to get into it.
All right, all
Good, man.
right,
I'm good. Just like Rods. Let's get to it, baby. Yes, sir. We
all right,
here.
all right. So, and I knew it did that. So, okay. I knew it messed up. All right, so we're gonna remove that for now. All right. Well, we got a lot to talk about. A lot to discuss. So, where do you guys want to start today?
I want to start with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh God! You just want to start? We do we have to?
I want to start with Aaron Rodgers, and I'm gonna tell you why I want to start with Aaron Rodgers. Because Mike, it's your turn. It's your turn to go through this.
No. I would like to. We've been off 3 weeks, and you want to start with the fraudulent one. We can't talk about Halliburton first.
No,
we
absolutely not. We can get to that.
Byron Tibbs. No, we have to start.
We can always get to that.
Pressure. We have to start.
We can always get to that.
Pressure. You're right. But game choose tonight. The importance is the NBA right now, not this fraudulent son of a bitch. No. We're not doing that first. I was cool, I was calm, and you wanted to raise my blood pressure. But you know what? Now you brought it up, so we might as well just
fellas. It's Sunday. It's Sunday.
Exactly.
So with all of it's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. Let's take it easy. Let's take it easy.
All right. There we go. I fixed it. All right. There we go. Now Instagram was messed up, but I was able to fix it from here. No. It is not my turn.
Oh, it's your turn.
I've decided this season that I am not a Steelers fan. I am a football fan.
You can't do that.
You cannot do that.
You can't do that.
Listen, Raj went from the Knicks to the Nets, bro. I could take a season off from.
But I didn't take a season. Okay,
well,
let me explain the Knicks. Let me explain the Knicks to the next move. Okay, when I put my trade in for the Knicks to the Nets fan, right? I wasn't bandwagon. I was just done with the Knicks.
What year was this? What year was this?
This is when they first moved to Brooklyn.
Okay, so at that time the Knicks were in basketball purgatory.
Yes. And you gotta remember,
it doesn't matter when you did it. The fact is that you did it. I didn't say
because I have a right. I was taking
the season off from being a fan to a football fan.
You can't do that. That's my point.
I can do that.
That's my point.
No, sir. No, sir.
Mike, you have been a Steelers fan your whole entire life, right?
Since about 04, 05. That's when I started really like
your football life. I'm talking about as when you've been serious about watching football
since 04. That's around the time. Yeah, bro. When Ben came in, that's when I started watching football.
So that's about 22 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You can't abandon your team like that, bro.
I'm not abandoning them. I'm not. See, look.
You are.
I'm not
abandoning them.
You're abandoning your team.
You feel like times of bad are coming, and you're abandoning the ship before it goes down.
Exactly.
Listen. You can't talk either, Mr. Two-Team, like in Detroit and Green Bay. So I don't want to hear that. They're supposed to be rivals. No, we're not going there. You're a team switcher and you're a two-teamer. No.
All right.
At least I'm in the same division. I'm still in the same division.
Which is a fucking crime. A crime. That's like saying you like the Yankees and the Red Sox. Like in the Steelers and the Ravens. Come on now. No, it's not. If anything, that's worse.
Attempting to abandon your team for a complete season and then think you're supposed to just jump back?
Oh my God!
What if they win the Super Bowl? What if they fuck around and win the Super Bowl?
They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that. They ain't gonna do that.
I didn't ask you. Are they gonna do it? I asked you.
They ain't gonna do that.
Question.
We're not gonna. There's no reason to have the discussion because it ain't gonna happen.
What if?
They're not gonna happen.
Unless
the only way that's gonna happen is if Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow all go away. They all get hurt. The only way that would even have the potential to happen.
Did the Chiefs fix that offensive line yet?
That don't matter.
Did the Chiefs fix that offense? Yes, it does matter.
No, it don't. Because
Yes,
until someone knocks him out of the Super Bowl or gets him away from the AFC game, it don't matter. So you have to pick them.
You don't think Pittsburgh's front seven is fierce enough to beat up on that weak offensive line? If they're playing good Steelers football this year, I'm only going with a scenario that the Steelers look damn good this year.
We're going with the scenario where
9-8.
I'm going with the scenario I'm going with the scenario of we seen this last season. We seen what they did. They tried to bring in a QB. It did not work. You let go of the QB that you should have maybe given the opportunity to, right? So now we got to look at it like this. If it didn't work with Russ, we seen what Aaron Rodgers brings to the table. We know what he brings to the table. We seen it last season. We seen, can he still play? Sure. Is he serviceable? Maybe. But when I look at it, could he get him there? Maybe. But the Steelers lost a lot too.
I don't want to hear no damn maybe.
Oh, no, it is maybe. It is maybe because he had a more talented team in New York than he does with Pittsburgh. He had way more talent.
I don't know about that. No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
Well, okay, so the Steelers traded for Metcalf. Okay, maybe that's a improvement of some sort, but we let go of Higgins or not Higgins.
I would say I would say it might weigh out about the same, but the difference is the culture. That's the difference.
Exactly.
Wait, hold on. I want to back up a second. I want to back up and get this in there. But we let go of what's his name? Pickens. Then we don't re-sign Harris. Jaylen Warren's going to be our starter. Now, I just don't see, I don't see that being an improvement. Okay, personally, I don't see that being a better.
What being an improvement? What are we talking about here?
I'm saying for Rodgers to do what he did, right? Like, because listen, we all saw the day Devontae got signed. My man Raj was on TikTok. He had his Jet hat. He had his Jet jersey. He was ready. But the point I'm making is that move didn't help, right? And
he came in the middle of the season.
But what I'm saying is that it didn't help. Doesn't help. You're depending on a guy that needs to go into a dark fucking cave for 17,000 hours to come out of the cave and say, I want to play football. I want to be here. And then you go on Pat McAfee's show every week.
I wasn't planning on smoking this early into the goddamn show, but he did. The mic pissing me off already.
But Mike,
we didn't have to start here. I tried to be nice and light.
I gave the whole rundown, but here comes Raj ruining the Sunday.
No, hold on, guys. We gotta talk about it because I'm gonna tell you why we gotta talk about it, okay? Because number one, Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I thought he was going to retire. I thought this was it.
So you got R&B smoking already, bro.
That's okay. That's okay. Because we need it. But look, Aaron Rodgers was supposed to retire this season, right? He decided to come back one more season and run with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, in his defense, and I'm not even a Aaron Rodgers apologist. You know how pissed off I was for the past 2 seasons. He's in a better system. He's not playing for the Jets. The Jets don't even have good management. They don't even have. We fired our coach in the middle of the season. We picked up Devontae Adams in the middle of the season. We had no direction where we were going.
And a hope that he would be able to help rejuvenate and put something into the offense that the other talented pieces around weren't doing. Let's not
Exactly.
forget about all of the drop balls earlier in the season and stuff like that.
Everything.
Niggas running the wrong routes, and it was a lot going on with the Jets. And I'm not trying to be a Aaron Rodgers apologist just because I'm a fan of him and he's my favorite quarterback. I'm just telling it like it is. Did he play good last year? Hell no, he didn't play good. He didn't play absolutely horrible either. It just wasn't a good mix. It was not a good meal. They sat down, they tried to read the recipe, they tried all these different ingredients that they tried to add to the recipe. They tried to make the recipe their own, and it came out disgusting. Nobody liked it. Thumbs down. Move on.
So the point is, Mike.
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. I gotta say this real quick. The point is, for you to say that the Jets were in a better situation than the Steelers in this situation, that's completely false. I would say it's either
false too.
It's either even or better. Exactly. And you guys had an opportunity to win. We didn't have no opportunity to win. We didn't even make the playoffs. So it's a matter of looking at it like this. Can Aaron Rodgers figure it out during the preseason? Can he figure it out during the regular season? Because that's the thing. He's coming in, but he's not. He's coming in at the very beginning, so he'll be fine.
I'll give you one more to add to that, Raj. Not to cut you off, but one more just to add to that. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be healthy? Is he healthier this season? Because that played a big part in the last year as well.
Exactly. So don't give up on him, Mike. That's all I'm saying.
Talent-wise, when I look at it talent-wise all around, I definitely think the Jets had more to – on paper, the Jets had more to work with last year on offense. It turned out to be a nasty meal. On defense, I feel like the Jets are talented, but the defense just fell off the face of the earth. Let's be real. We know what this defense looked like in years previous before Aaron Rodgers became the full-time starter last year. We know what this defense was capable of. We were looking at this defense and we were saying this defense is Super Bowl ready. Last year, they didn't even look regular season ready. They weren't absolutely horrible, but from what they were, that was a precipitous drop-off. So we got to be honest about that. Pittsburgh defense is always in the top 10 year in and year out. I think, and that's what I said about the culture, the entire surrounding of the culture and the program with Mike Tomlin, with the Pittsburgh way, and with the Pittsburgh defense. I think that we can all check off all three of those boxes and say that no matter what next year, those three things are going to do their job. And with that, could bowl better for a better situation and more success with the Steelers than he had with the Jets.
Exactly.
It's as simple as it is.
Okay. So let me tell you why that's good points, but why they're wrong. First of all, you have to look at this. You got to look at this. Aaron Rodgers has been used to owning whatever division he's been in, which most of it is obviously in the NFC North. Now, that guy's gone. He's dead. That form of him is gone. We can all agree to that. Now, last year, he went to the Jets, where obviously off the rip, he was the number 2 at least quarterback behind Josh Allen. You have two in that division, and who else? And then Drake May. So whatever. Now you're going to what has been known as the toughest division in football for many years, the AFC North. So automatically you're number 3. You're number 3. And on top of that, you're still in the AFC. So we know the AFC is competitive. So you have to survive this division. You have to see Joe Burrow twice. You have to see Lamar twice. We don't know what the fuck Cleveland's going to put on the field with their 5 quarterback room. Um, who knows? Who knows? You know, they might say, "Fuck it, we're gonna put Schroeder out there. He might come out there and ball out." We don't know. You know. Uh,
I think we can say that we feel like Cleveland's defense will be, solid next year because they've been pretty consistent with putting out a good defense.
absolutely. So it's not so much about even so my disdain. It's about can he survive the division? You know, because let's just say we seen what the Bengals did last season offensively. Even though it didn't equivocate to wins, Jamar Chase had one hell of a year. Joe Burrow still had one hell of a year. They just can't. The defense just can't stop a nosebleed.
You just won my argument right there. You just gave me the win when you mentioned the Bengals. That you really don't even deserve to continue to talk anymore after mentioning the Bengals because that defense was so goddamn bad
It
last
was
year.
horrible.
The Jets
But
defense wasn't even that goddamn bad. We know
Mhm.
Pittsburgh's defense is not going to look like
what
the
I'm saying
Bengals
is
defense looked.
no, you're wrong. You're wrong
No,
because
I'm right.
no, you're
You
wrong.
telling
You
me
know
you think
why?
you think the
Because
Steelers defense will look like the Bengals
because
defense?
because it don't matter if let's just say we play the Bengals week 13, okay? Okay? The first 5 weeks of last season the Steelers defense gave up, I believe, like 12 points or less or 10 points or less. Once the offense starts to do what the offense in Pittsburgh has been known to do as of recent history, the defense gets tired. And if we play the Bengals week 13 and the defense is tired and the offense is slouching, the Bengals are going to put points up. The Bengals, because even you had said last year, and I remember it clearly, week 4, we had the discussion of this season. You said, yeah, Justin Fields is playing good, but you're gonna have an offense that's gonna put points up on that defense. And can the Steelers find a way to win those games? That still applies. If the offense cannot do it for whatever reason, whether it be Rodgers, whether it be receivers, whether it be running, we're in the same boat. We're in the same boat. You went out and you got an aging quarterback, just like you did last season. You thought with Russ and Fields, Fields, I thought they were going to keep. I thought Russ was a one-year thing. Fields was the idea to move forward. That's what I thought. That's what a lot of us thought. But when you look at it, they both walked, both went to New York. And then you look at this. If it didn't work with Russ, I want to know what makes either of you guys think it'll be different with Rodgers. The formula didn't work last year.
Because we both know that Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career looks like he's a better quarterback than Russ. I
Exactly.
mean, it has to be told which we'll all read this book next season and we'll read the story and we'll figure it out next season when they get on the field, barring any type of injuries to either one of them or whatever. But we both know. I mean, we all know at this point in their careers, Aaron Rodgers looks like a better quarterback than Russ. Now, last year, when Russ first got the starting job, I would have said it differently. I would have said that Russ right now looks like he's a better quarterback at this point than Aaron Rodgers. But we all know how the season ended for both of them. Russ went on a nosedive, and Aaron Rodgers started to kind of show flashes of looking like Aaron Rodgers as he began to get healthier as the season waned. So, what I'm saying, right now, I have to say that Aaron Rodgers looks like he's the best quarterback at this point. And that's why I feel like it in the totality of everything, the totality of, having a quarterback that's not going to make the dumb mistakes that Russell Wilson made last year because of his IQ or being able to actually drive the ball down the field, unlike Justin Fields was able to do last year. You know what I'm saying? Which tailored to an offense that was kind of stagnant. It barely could get down the field outside of running the ball or whatever. So it made him one dimensional. So it's two quarterbacks from last year that we can go to and point to both of their flaws and why the offense looked the way it did. Was it was stagnant or flashy high powered at a point and then fell off and nosedive? That Aaron Rodgers doesn't have those flaws that they have.
Now you see, I think the level of competition had a lot to do with it too. And when I say that is I'm looking at the schedule now, I can't recollect the Jets schedule, but when I look at, so we know Justin Fields played the first 5 games, I believe. Right?
I think so.
I think it was so. I think it was 4-1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or something like that. 3-2, something like that. But when I look at when Russ came in, win against the Raiders, big win. Win against the Jets.
Big win against the Raiders?
Yeah, it was 32-13. Then it was 37-15 against the Jets. Then the scariness started because they only beat the Giants by 8 points. Then they survived a game against Washington, right? And then after that, they beat the Ravens by the skin of their teeth. Lost to Cleveland in the snow by 5. Beat the Bengals by 6. Beat the Browns by 2 scores. Lost to Philly. Lost by 2 scores. Lost to the Ravens by 2 scores. Got destroyed by the Chiefs on Christmas. Lost to the Bengals. And then ultimately lost to the Ravens. So when the competition got stiffer, they beginning to fold. That's the Steelers' way in a sense, and at least that's how I've seen it in recent history of watching them. Is they're gonna have a lot of pressure. It's gonna be a big situation. I'm looking, just looking at their schedule. They're already talking about this redemption tour or revenge tour for Aaron Rodgers, putting out these narratives. I don't want to hear the narratives. Do
you hear this shit? Do you hear this shit?
Yeah, I'm listening. I'm just, yeah.
Get on the field and play.
It's funny to me. It's funny to me how now all of a sudden, with Aaron Rodgers as Pittsburgh's quarterback, was this supposed to be your team, right? You're finding every reason to find the negativity and hopefulness of failure. Versus last year, you were trying to find every reason and hopefulness of success.
Don't do that. Don't do that because no. I'm not gonna let you do that. No, because you know why? Because before he was the quarterback and we had no quarterback. You don't recall me saying I hope we go 0-17 and lose every single game? You don't recall that? Because I've said that on plenty of occasions.
You said that if Aaron Rodgers became the quarterback. Stop playing now.
No. Nice try.
We can go look it up.
Nice try. No. I have said on multiple occasions.
What sense would it make for you to hope for your team to go 0-17?
So maybe then we can draft a competent quarterback.
Before Aaron Rodgers signed. What type of fan are you?
The fan that sometimes you got to sacrifice to get success. We all know that.
You did not start saying that until
no, that's bullshit. Your ears ain't been working, bro. No, you're not gonna sit up there and do that.
No, work plenty good.
No, we're not gonna do this.
Raj can attest to this.
We're not gonna do this. Nope, you ain't getting that one because I've said it on multiple occasions on this show. Conversation.
Yeah, when Aaron Rodgers' name came up, that's when you started saying, "I hope they go 0-17." You ain't say that shit last year when they brought in Russ and Justin Fields. You had a young quarterback in Justin Fields last year, and you did not say, "Oh, I hope they go 0-17."
Right. I agree with that.
No, I said that after the season when they let both of them walk.
Okay.
when they let both of them walk.
No. You said that.
I was like, you gonna tell me what I said?
Because I sat here and listened to you bitch and cry about it.
No. Listen. We're done with this talk, 2-team and team switcher. We're done. This is over. No.
Hey, at least I don't leave them. At least I don't leave them. The Lions went on 16. They went on 16, and I did not leave them.
Yeah, you went to Green Bay all them years and like the Packers.
I've been a Green Bay fan since Brett Favre was there, sir.
Ain't no such thing as having two NFL. If you can have two NFL teams, I can take a team a year off for being a Steelers fan. You are not supposed to have two NFL teams. You're supposed to have one. Uno.
Being a Brett Favre fan, and then because of the recent allegations and stories about him that hit the news, I lost respect for him.
Listen.
Hold on. You're saying because of allegations you lost respect, so therefore you can't be a fan. Hold on.
He stole money from my people, bro.
But you can't.
Don't go there. That's a whole.
Hold on. But what's that got to do with what he's done on the field? There are other people who I'm sure that you respect who've done things of bad natures, and you still respect their form of art.
I never said I don't respect his form of art. I never said I don't respect Brett Favre's form of art. My disdain for Brett Favre began with the whole retirement back and forth shit. It got irritating. It got staled out, and it became like irritating as fuck. Then he went on to the Jets. He went on to the Vikings. And then, it was what it was. He rolled off into the sunset or whatever. But then when you start talking about this dude stealing funds, welfare funds in the state of Mississippi, one of the most historically racist fucking states that we all know of from history, stealing money from the poor people to fund a fucking sports facility being built at his daughter's college? Come on, bro. Like, yeah, I'm gonna look at that and be like, this dude's a fucking clown. That don't take away from what he did on the field. It don't. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that it does because it doesn't. But it does. It did make me lose disdain for him. It made me not like him as much. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't respect that.
I think with that situation, him doing that is fucked up, but them not doing anything about it is more fucked up. And if he were black, if Michael Vick did that, because they drug him through the mud for fighting dogs, they let this dude get off scot-free. So I'll give you that. But I'm just saying,
I've said here on this show with you and Raj, I mentioned it multiple times how they weren't really talking about that shit on First Take when it was going on, like when it was big news. They covered it very slightly. But like you said, let that have been Michael Vick that they found some shit like that about. They'd have been covering whole 35, 40-minute slots.
Maybe even a whole show.
Yeah.
Bringing on guests to talk about it and shit.
Yep. Sorry. So I guess we move on to the next topic then.
See, this is all your fault. You could have started with a light topic. You knew good and damn well that was going to pick up.
That was good entertainment.
Let me transition us there.
That was good entertainment. Man.
To Halliburton.
Before we get there, for the record, Raj, I did notice you said the least in that segment. You really sat there and took the entertainment. Raj ain't have not much to say. He was just like, he's looking a sentence here, a sentence there.
I said what I needed to say, and I let y'all set it up. I set it up, and I let y'all run it. Oh, man.
All right, what the hell?
Yeah, Halliburton, man, he's on a generational run right now. I think there's a lot of people out there that still believes that OKC is going to take it, but Don't sleep on the Indiana Pacers. If the Indiana Pacers get tonight, if the Indiana Pacers find a way to win tonight because they're being slept on, I got Indiana in 6.
They do have a coach. Rick Carlisle, we all know Rick Carlisle, me living here in Detroit, that's where he, you know what I'm saying, made his bones as a head coach, as the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, when he helped revitalize us as a franchise and put us back on the map. And unfortunately, after 2 failed Eastern Conference finals, he was let go of his duties, and that's when we brought in Larry Brown, and Larry Brown took us over the hump and got us there, where we upset the Lakers and then lost eventually to San Antonio. But Rick Carlisle definitely was the head coach that kickstarted the going to work Pistons. So and then we all know what he went to Dallas and did. He's a hell of a coach, man. He's a hell of a coach, and you can't sleep on when you have a coach like that, and you have a team that's deep. That you know what I'm saying, they have veterans, they have youth, they can shoot the ball. Miles Turner can shoot the ball at a high clip. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe that Halliburton is a star. Is a superstar. I believe he's a star. I'm one of those guys. But you know what I'm saying? I just mentioned the Detroit Pistons. We didn't really have a true superstar, even though I would argue that Ben Wallace being a first team all defense and impacting the game from one side of the floor the way he could in that short window of time, I believe was a defensive superstar. But we didn't really have what most people would look at as a superstar, is they're going to look at your offense for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's Halliburton. He just has way too many games where he's either doesn't shoot the ball enough, or he shoots the ball enough and then it just doesn't equate to anything, because he'll end up with 8 points, 10 points, shit like that. I just don't see that as being a superstar. But as far as a hell of a star point guard player, he's that. He knows how to get the engine to the offense going. He knows how to distribute the ball and get everybody the ball where they need it at, and spots to be their best and be successful. And you know what I'm saying, they just don't go away. You got a veteran championship experienced player in Pascal Siakam. Look, this team is definitely a team that you cannot sleep on. And I believe with their veterans and their veteran presence, you know what I'm saying, that they hold that over OKC, because I think your oldest and most veteran player on OKC would be Alex Caruso, and I don't even think Alex Caruso is 30. I don't think I think he like 28, 29 or something like that. I don't even think he's 30,
he's
or he
young.
might just be 30. So you know what I'm saying, they're a pretty young team. So when you compare that, I still got OKC taking this series. I still believe in SGA. I believe that they should take this series, to be honest with you. You can't lose this series, but you can't sleep on Indiana.
Alex Caruso's 31.
Okay. So I said maybe barely 30 if he, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just looked it up. He's 31. There's a lot of things that I've been watching game one that I want everyone to realize. I had picked OKC in 6 games, and now that's 7 games. But we have to look at game one in totality. Do you know how many first half turnovers the Pacers had? Either of you?
No.
I believe it was like 20.
19.
Or 20 plus.
It's 19.
Wow. 19? Okay. 19. Yeah, I knew it was somewhere. It was high. It was a lot.
Do you know how many second half turnovers they had?
0.
1.
5. For a total of 24 for the game.
Oh, damn.
If I read it correctly, I believe OKC only got 12 points or 14 points off of those turnovers.
Versus the first half, they scored off of the turnovers.
They
scored more in the first half off turnovers for sure.
So if you're able to, and I mean, listen, they were forcing those turnovers. Wasn't like Indiana was giving them all away. Like they were forcing those turnovers.
For sure.
If you're able to get 24 turnovers in a game, you should win. But credit to Indiana because there were times where like this is the guy that he's on him like this and he's just scoring the ball. Like you can't like you did everything to do but foul him. So give credit where it's due to Indiana. But I'll also say that Indiana doesn't go away. And on top of that, there's someone who steps up every night. You know, it don't have to be Halliburton every night. It don't have to be Spicy P every night. It could be Miles Turner. It could be Neesmith. Because, you know, when you look at every series, like, you know, Halliburton has shown he has a clutch gene, but against the Knicks, Neesmith was the guy who made 7 or 8 threes in that one game that gave him the win. Yeah, credit to him because you still have to make those shots, right? You know, in the second series, there was a game where or against Cleveland where Spicy P was just like, I'm that dude. Credit to him. You know, we looked at
Spicy P is a hell of a star. I think him and Halliburton are truly on the same level. They're both star players.
You know, and he's got championship DNA from his championship he's won.
Yep,
so,
in Toronto.
When I look at Halliburton, he may not be a superstar. He may be a fringe all-star, but he don't need to go off every night for the team to be successful. And that's a credit to Rick Carlisle. And on top of that, a credit to who they are as a team. Because now you can lock up Halliburton one night and be like, all right, he ain't gonna get nothing. But what happened? Because Halliburton didn't play great game one. He really didn't. He started to make shots towards the end.
He started making shots at the end.
But Miles Turner was like, tonight's my night. Now, next game, you got to plan for him. And then Neesmith might decide, I'm the dude.
Nembhard as well.
Nembhard as well. Right. Yep. So now you have to plan accordingly for these guys. And that's what it comes down to. Planning accordingly.
Hey, real quick though, Mike, I think I'm not sure if you were aiming that at me or not, but I felt like you were. So I just wanted to say, don't feel like I'm saying just because a person is a superstar doesn't mean that the others don't have to step up. Because we all know that SGA is a superstar, but he still needs Jalen Williams to step up. He still needs Holmgren and Hartenstein and Caruso. Everybody still has to play their role and do what they got to do. So that's not the reason why I don't consider Halliburton, a superstar, is because others, can step up or whatever. I understand that they're a well-oiled machine. I just don't consider him a superstar because he's not the number one option every night. A true superstar is the number one option every night, whether the others step up or not. He's still the number one option.
Right.
He's still putting up superstar numbers. Halliburton doesn't put up superstar numbers, not all around. He may give you a superstar stat, but he don't give you superstar numbers, which makes you a star.
Also, I want to say this. It also exposed OKC's lack of experience because even though they got Caruso, even though they got Hartenstein, and there's a few other veterans that's out there that's on the team, you could see that they weren't ready for that moment. They was up 15 points in the fourth. And when it came down to it, all they had to do is just control their possessions, be able to stop the ball. So there's a lot of inexperience out there that's on that team. And that's why I said I'll give them 6 games. But there's too many veterans that's won on Indiana's team to let those type of moments go. Now, I'm not saying that OKC can't win the championship because I wouldn't be surprised. But I honestly believe that Indiana has a better chance because they stole game 1. And that was a huge game. A huge game. and it actually took the air right out of OKC because they could go play tonight and beat them by, let's say, 10 points. That's still not enough for game 3 when they go to Indiana, because now they don't know what's going to happen. It's their home court. I know that Indiana's not really excellent at home. I don't know the exact record. I know they lost a couple times to the Knicks at home, but it just goes to show you need that veteran coach. You need that veteran experience on the bench and also on the floor. And plus, you need to have people that's going to close out games. And Halliburton proved all those things can be done with a team that nobody picked for the NBA Finals.
And the other thing,
OKC just can't. They can't go into it. They can't go into tonight saying that we had them. That's
right.
What they can't do.
Yeah, they can't because if they do, it's a wrap. It's over. It's over. Because there's too many experiences on the other side. And like you said, R&B, Rick Carlisle brought that team to the playoffs and did their thing with Detroit. You know what I'm saying? It's like he already know what these type of situations are. Nobody picked Indiana. Just like nobody picked Detroit back then, but he made them one of those type of teams you respected. So we'll see what happens tonight. And then Dallas too. Dallas, another team he brought, and they won the championship.
And the last thing I did want to say is when it comes to OKC, other people do have to step up, especially Chet Holmgren. 6 points in game 1 ain't going to get the job done.
No.
But, a lot of people wouldn't notice that had they have won. But even still, you were supposed to be one of the pieces to this team, one of the big pieces. So you need to step up and do what you have to do to get the team to win. But I'm going to still rock with OKC and that they will win this series in 7 games. And I just wanted to also say I made a video about this yesterday that I'm disgusted by the NBA fan base. Disgusted.
Why is that?
Because I seen a report that this is the lowest rated finals in NBA history. And I'm disgusted that the fan base is so infatuated, and not us, because we actually watch the sport, right? We're actually fans of the sport. Like, I don't mind, I'm not against seeing something different or watching something different. But the fact that, people want to see the Jokers and you want to see the Kawhis and the Giannis, the LeBrons, the Tatums, the Embiids, we get that. Who doesn't want to see that? But when they ain't there, you can't watch. That was a good game 1, even though the Pacers was getting beat.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game.
Quitting. They made it competitive and intriguing to watch. And this is the lowest rated finals ever. I'm just disgusted with the NBA fan base personally. I just want
you know what though, Mike? You know what though? You gotta think about it. We got 2 small market teams here in the NBA finals, right? Last time we had that, I believe, was Detroit and San Antonio, which was what they said was another, lower rated finals, even though it was a great, 7-game final or whatever.
Right.
Like it was lowly rated. So but this is the thing about it. This is what I'll say. I believe that a lot of the fan base wants to see SGA as a legit superstar in the finals. It's the Indiana Pacers and Halliburton. And it's no knock. I'm not saying that it's like that I have disdain for it or anything like that, even though I don't like Indiana because I'm a Pistons fan. But what I'm saying, at the end of the day, just being completely biased about it, it's people don't see Halliburton as that superstar. They don't see him as that superstar. I'm telling you, I think if Cleveland was in the finals right now, I think it would be good ratings because people consider Donovan Mitchell a true superstar in box office. So you got your big name against your big name. People don't really feel like we have a big name against a big name. They feel like it's one of these situations where it's a well-oiled machine, good basketball, ball movement, boring to them, you know what I'm saying, versus a superstar SGA with the whole cast around him. They're not turned on by it. It sucks because it was a great game one, and I think it's going to be a great series as a true fan. And this is what I like to see in basketball. But it just goes to show you how most of the world are fucking idiots.
Yep.
True. So who you guys got tonight for game 2?
I'm gonna say OKC. I'm hoping it's OKC because I want to see this be a battle. Yeah, so I would say probably by 5 points. They're not gonna blow them out. I think OKC wins it 95-90.
I'm not gonna give a score. I'm gonna just say that I'm rolling with OKC tonight. I believe in OKC to go ahead and knock this up 1-1 heading back to Indiana for game 3. They have to win tonight because if they don't win tonight, this series is over. Simple as that.
It's gonna be a problem.
They have to win game 2.
Yep.
And I believe they will.
All right. Okay.
Who you got, Mike?
OKC.
You got
OKC.
So.
In a close one.
That's
Another competitive one. Yeah, I just think that they're gonna come out hungrier, ready. And just gonna be more prepared. They got to play every game against this team like it's game 7 because they ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, we want to talk about the New York Knicks.
We can combine this one though. These two. We can combine these two.
Yeah. Yep. The Knicks' future and the coach. What are your thoughts, Raj, on them firing Tom Thibodeau? And where do you think that leaves the Knicks in the future moving forward?
Well, my initial thought is I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all because I feel like somebody like Tom, there's somebody like Tibbs that got him to the Eastern Conference Finals, even though we didn't think they performed up to their best potential. He got them there, and it's been over 20-something years since they've been there.
What, 2000 was the last time they went?
Yeah, I think 2000 or 2001, something like that.
Exact.
You said 25 years?
Mm-hmm.
25 years. So it took them 25 years to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and the first thing they do is pull the plug on a coach. That to me shows that there's no real respect for coaches anymore. Because if they really respect and cared about him, they would at least ran it back one more time before they fired him. And I'm not saying he's perfect because I believe a lot of the injuries was contributed to him burning out players, having them playing 37, 38 minutes a night.
If not more,
depending on the situation. Because I know Mikal Bridges, who barely,
what injuries do we speak of, though? I remember the injuries from last year, but this year, what injuries are we talking about here?
We're talking about the injuries with during the regular season. Jalen Brunson, he got hurt.
The Eastern Conference Finals. I don't want to hear nothing about the regular season. I want to hear about the Eastern Conference Finals.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is I'm talking about the burnout, like putting them on the floor. Because see, one of the things is this. Even though he didn't have those injuries in the Eastern Conference Finals, these people, you can see that the players were burned. They were tired. They were completely burned out. And running the same type of plays with Jalen Brunson and OG and then Cat and stuff like that, it's the same things. It's like you got to switch it up. You have to increase the time with the bench enough for them to have enough time to go out there and rest. But I don't know. I look at it like this. Like I said, I think the Knicks made a big mistake firing Tibbs. I think that the next coach they bring in, I don't think they're going to really make any type of noise in the Knicks with the Knicks anymore after this because they had a winning formula and they just messed it up. That's my take.
Well, I did see that. Go ahead, R&B.
No, I just wanted to say, why must y'all piss me off this Sunday morning and cause me to smoke like this? But y'all just really getting on my nerves this morning. But continue on, Mike.
Listen, man. I did see that the Knicks organization, I read that somewhere that they wanted to have someone that would utilize the bench more. Um, but it's just the timing of letting him go, right? Like I understand that I could understand if they got knocked in the first round or even the second round. But you went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
So it shows to some degree that your formula worked. May higher ups not have liked it? No. But here's the thing. You knew what you were getting with him when you hired him. You knew this is how he coaches. You know this is what he does. You know, you could have tried to have a conversation and talk to him, but you can't control how he coaches. So I think that why I don't think it's a good move. I don't think it's a bad move. But the thing is, who are you going to get to replace him? And now that person's held in high regard, especially, you know, whether they concede to these rumored trades of grabbing Kevin Durant or being in that sweepstakes, or whether, you know, especially if they do that and they keep Brunson and Cat. But even if they run it back with the same team they have, they're going to say this team can get to the conference finals. It's your job to get them there and get us to the finals. And we know every season's new. I expect Cleveland to come back. Maybe not the way they played this year, but I expect them in there. I expect the Pacers to be in there again. I expect the Celtics. Well, actually, Tatum's going to be down, so we don't know what the Celtics are going to bring to the table. I forgot he tore his Achilles. So but that's going to be the standard. Will become that, and I don't know. Like I seen something about them wanting to interview Jason Kidd, but I guess the Mavericks said no or what have you.
Yeah, they asked for permission to be able to interview Jason Kidd. I didn't know that the Mavericks had responded to the request though. You said they said no.
Yeah, so I just think that for them, it's not a good move, but it's not a bad move. But it could be a move that stops you from getting back to those conference finals.
Yep.
And stops you from getting to where you want to go. But if I don't know what roster moves they're gonna make, but I don't think.
And there it is, right there. Personally. There it is, right there, Mike. There it is, my friend. This is why y'all both just pissed me off with this whole discussion about the Knicks.
Well, Rod started the show pissing us off, talking about what he talked about, and then sat there and watched through the whole thing while we argued. So we just
we might argue. We all three of us might argue again because I'm so pissed at y'all for not pointing to this. If you fired Tibbs, you should have fired Leon Rose.
Okay. Why?
We all know that Tibbs is a defensive-minded head coach. That's where he earned his bones at. I think he was the defensive coordinator, you know what I'm saying, for lack of a better way of saying it, for the Boston Celtics teams under Doc Rivers with KG and Ray Allen and the crew.
Right.
You know what you have when you hire a coach like Tibbs. You know his style of play. You know what I'm saying, his style of coaching. Why is this roster not? It doesn't fit, what he does at all. So how can you really have the true success that it's, to me, it's a miracle that he even got into the Eastern Conference Finals because they really weren't supposed to go there, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? But he's him being an excellent coach, being able to pull the best out of the players that that he can. It shows. So to me, if I'm the GM, I'm sitting back and I'm thinking to myself, it's a couple moves I need to make in order to get this team over the hump. Not firing Tibbs. That I don't see that as one of the moves that needed to be made. And the reason why is because you mentioned the bench. The bench is horrible. Who do you have coming? You move Josh Hart to the bench and to let him come in with the second unit. It improved his play somewhat. You know what I'm saying? To be able to come in with the second unit and come off the bench versus being out there as a starter, because it seemed like something just wasn't clicking during that last series. But outside of that, who do you really have that come off the bench? I can't even remember dude's name. When I seen his face, I'm like, damn, I remember him. He got drafted a long time ago. The dude that was coming in and playing point guard, was it? No, I'm not paying. What is it? Ronaldo Blackman or something like that? Was he? Or what? The dude with the dreadlocks that was coming in, backing up Brunson from day. He started letting them get some run. Like these dudes, I'm gonna just be honest, man.
Deuce McBride.
Man, they don't have a bench. We just got done talking about Indiana and how deep Indiana is and how they got hitters coming at you from all ways. We just got done talking about OKC and how deep OKC is and how they can go 10, 11 deep and they got hitters that can hit you from all ways. Can you say the same thing about the Knicks? Your head coach is a defensive-minded head coach, but your best two players can't play a lick of defense. Being a center that went an entire Eastern Conference Finals and only registered one block. And this is what you give me to work with? Come on, man. We got to look at Rose, too. They did not give him the requisite parts to be able to work with. They have not truly drafted well as far as bringing in young talent that can lock up and play, give you a little bit on offense, but can lock up on the defensive end, but also got the youth and the win to be able to sustain. Because let's be honest here, if you want to win championships, it don't matter how deep you are. Your best players are going to play big minutes. And that's throughout the season. LeBron just got done playing 35, 36 minutes a game. So don't nobody want to hear that bullshit. Talking about some they playing too many minutes. They're like Mikal Bridges supposed to be the Iron Man. What did he do in the Eastern Conference Finals? Couldn't hit a shot. Couldn't hit a shot until you need him to hit a shot. And then when you really need him to hit a shot, he can't hit a fucking shot. But they traded 5 first-round picks for this dude, 4 unprotected for Mikal Bridges. And I'm not even trying to knock Mikal. He can ball on both ends. He's a two-way player. He's not a fucking superstar. You don't trade 5 first-round picks, 4 unprotected for a dude that's not a superstar. Like, what the fuck are we doing here? Those were the assets that you needed to fill out your fucking bench, to get depth, to get youth, to be able to match up with Cleveland, to be able to match up with Indiana, to be able to match up with, dare I say, Detroit, because I feel we're deeper than New York. New York just was able to get us because we're young and they had that experience already. But if we play them again in the playoffs next year, I'm picking the Pistons to beat New York if this team stays the same, to be honest with you. Because if you don't change anything up, which I don't see how you truly can, because you don't have any assets because you've traded them all away. So you basically about to try to bring in another head coach and tell him, okay, because Tibbs got this team to the Eastern Conference Finals, your job is to get us to the finals. But he's not going to really have nothing to work with. So I agree with Rox on this sentiment. I think that you'll probably see a team that stays competitive for maybe the next season or two if they don't make any requisite moves to get better as far as filling the team out and being able to match up with other deep teams. And then they'll go back into basketball purgatory.
Yeah.
I want to just say a couple things based off what you said. First is a question. How many times have we seen this in all sports, not just basketball? And that is that when the team does great, the organization takes credit as a whole, right? When you see a team win the Super Bowl, the GM is up there, the owner's up there. Everyone's taking credit.
Mm-hmm.
When they're losing, they need a fall guy. Who's the fall guy every time? Or well, sometimes they fire GMs too, but most of the time it's the head coach.
Yep.
The GM gets off scot-free.
And if I'm not mistaken, y'all might know a little better than me because y'all actually live in New York. But didn't they say that they be refusing to do press conferences and stuff like that, like Rose and in the crew? Like they run from doing press conferences and
all
stuff
the
like
time,
that. Like
all the time.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Why that
So you're not even having to speak up for your fuckery.
And not to switch the subject, but going back to what y'all was saying about me switching sides when it came down to the Brooklyn team versus the New York Knicks. I chose an organization that was accountable for their actions. The Knicks never took accountability for their actions. And it starts at the top. It starts from the ownership. When you see an organization that really don't care about winning, and then they send their president or their GM out there and they say, well, we're doing the best we can, but we're not finding anybody to go out here and, play for us, like the superstars or whatever, or to get them after their prime. Enough is enough. Now you got Leon Rose. You have a lot of the people in the Knicks organization that don't want to take responsibility for failure. So now they don't want to do press conferences. And that's been happening for the past, I would say, probably 12, 13 years. So it just shows you that, the Knicks organization, they got far. They got to Eastern Conference Finals, but I don't see them going any further than that. And I don't see them going back for a very long time.
And the other thing, too, that I wanted to bring up was, you brought up the 5 picks that they gave up to get Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, instead of
unprotected.
For unprotected pick, yep.
Instead of now you being able to give up to have those picks now when you got possibly Kevin Durant on the trade block, you got Giannis potentially on the trade block. Now you don't have any assets to what you call it? You don't have any assets to even get into those sweepstakes.
I mean, I disagree. I think that they do have moderate assets to get into those sweepstakes, but this is what I mean. If you're able to swing a deal, for one, I don't think they're going to be able to swing a deal to get Giannis. If they're able to swing a deal to get Giannis, then there's going to be some bullshit in the game. That's what you call making sure that you get your big market team where they need to be. I'm telling you that it should not happen. I'm not arguing against it. I'm not hating on it. I'm not saying I don't want it to happen. All I'm saying is in reality, that should not be able to happen. But I do think that they could be in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. But the thing is that if you're able to swing Kevin Durant without giving up Cat or Brunson or Bridges, which you're probably gonna trade Bridges to, but it's no way that shit's gonna happen without you having to clear out everything that you might have on the bench. You Josh Hart probably would be out of there. Like I said, I believe it would probably be Bridges. And then I don't really know what else is on the bench, but whatever else on the bench to make it work, probably gonna have to go to. And that's the only. So you gonna thin your team out so thin that you gonna be top heavy with a bad knees, bad feet, Karl Anthony Towns. Jalen Brunson has known to get some knickknacks here and there. An older KD. And if you're able to hold on to Bridges, a dude that has showed that he can play a little defense, but when you need him the most, he kind of went into a shell. He'll hit the shots to help you get back in the game, but he's not going to hit the shots to get the lead and win the game.
That's true. That's true. He's not like a top tier guy to do that or a go-to guy for that. I don't know. They could be. They could be. That's for sure. But hey, I know soon enough you gotta do some things. So I want to make sure I get in a couple topics here on the NFL side before we gotta run out. Stephon Diggs.
Oh God. Yo.
Go ahead, you can start it off, Raj.
I just want to say this, man. See, I know sometimes we talk about football players and how they have a personal life and they do stupid stuff like that, but this got to be top 10. This dude, I don't know what that pink substance was on that yacht, but it looked like cocaine. It looked like cocaine. Now, I could be wrong.
I ain't even heard of no pink cocaine, though, Raj.
Well, go take a look at that video. Go take a look at that video until you tell me what it looks like. But Stephon Diggs, man, he's dealing with. He was supposed to be recovering from his ACL injury, but he's doing everything but the right things off the field. And honestly, man, I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots don't cut him. I'm not saying
they already said they weren't going to unless something changes. But
well, that's my point. They probably going to give him a little bit of time, let him play a couple weeks, but he's going to get cut from the Patriots because this guy, he's just too out there. And like I said, if that was some type of drug substance, he needs to be cut. Because when I saw that video, I was like, wow, this man is wilding the hell out. And that's not the Patriots way. The Patriots are not known for that. And I know Bill Belichick's not there anymore, and I'm not sure about Robert Kraft, but what I do know is you know how they play with the Patriots. They don't play that.
Nah.
They don't allow none of that stuff to happen. I mean, even the top tier superstars like Randy Moss, when he played on the Patriots, he didn't do any of these type of things because there's a certain culture that comes with with that uniform. And honestly, I don't think he's going to be this long.
What you missing though, Raj? I'm sorry, I had to cut you off.
Okay,
because when you mention that, you cannot forget to mention the reason that it was. And that reason is no longer there. That was Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick was running the Patriot. It was Bill Belichick's Patriot way. That I can't guarantee to say that that's like the overall still, theme of the franchise. Like, let's not forget what the owner was caught up in. Come on now. Let's not forget what the owner was caught up in.
Well, you know how that goes.
It was the Bill Belichick way, and Bill Belichick is no longer there. Now it's Mike Vrabel, who is someone who came from under Bill Belichick, but you know what I'm saying? Right. But the younger, different dude. So who knows, man? But I don't really have much to say on it. All I'm gonna say is that I ain't never heard of pink cocaine. But it could have been some other stuff broken down like cocaine, because they like to break the pills down and do their thing with that too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It was something. I don't know what it was, but it was something. That's what I'm saying. I might be wrong, but
that apple into skinny pieces. And she clean it with her face, man. I love my babe.
Yep.
I mean, I just want to know. We seen him doing a lot of different situations. Like I seen him at what was it? He was at a basketball game. I think he was there with what's her name? Jesus.
Cardi B?
God. Yes. He was there with Cardi B. I'm like, bro. People were like, oh,
cares about that though.
No. People are, but people always that's not to say people like, oh, he's here and it's making headlines. And I'm like, all right, you can make headlines for that, whatever. That's you enjoying your life. But then this shit, you're like, bro,
Yep.
this is a wild man. And from what, like I said, from what I read, the Patriots aren't going to cut him. But I'm like, bro, this is just
But I'm
wild.
gonna be honest with you though. I'll be honest with you, Mike. I don't know what the fuck the substance was. But if it was something that was of illegalness, and yes, I just made that word up,
The
illegalness.
legalness.
Illegalness.
Hey, then he probably should get cut because I'll be honest with you, if you're dumb enough to be out on the boat doing that shit out in the open like that,
Mm-hmm.
then you just got to deal with the consequences that come behind it, man. I talk to my son
Absolutely.
about that type of shit all the time. When
Yep.
you do dumb shit, you just got to be prepared. You like stupid shit, like come on, man. You Stephon Diggs. Why are
Exactly.
you out in the open with that shit? I'm not here to knock nobody. You do what you do. You party. That's your life. You gotta live your
Mm-hmm.
life. But you gotta be smart about it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be all out in the open with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that. That's
Exactly.
cardinal rule, man.
Yeah. Especially when
You
you
putting the
$100
money
million
at risk.
man.
You putting the money at risk.
Yep.
You putting the money at risk because when you start having to fight cases and buy lawyers and all that different type of shit, and
Mm-hmm. Yep.
you putting the money at risk. And the whole point of taking the chances that we're taking was to get to the money. So why get to the money and then put the money at risk?
Facts.
I don't understand it.
Because he ain't thinking about it.
But you need more people in your circle. Shit, let me hang with you.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like,
Let
who
me
the hell was recording that? Who the hell was recording that?
Somebody deserved to have their phone smacked the fuck out their hand and pushed
Yeah.
off the boat. Fuck you doing?
Now he's dealing with a whole nother lawsuit.
And then cussing him out. What you doing?
Yeah,
Fuck down there
exactly.
with that shit. Fuck down there. Go down into the fucking pit with that shit. Don't fuck you doing up here in the open.
Exactly. Broad daylight.
Just letting it go with no issues.
Yep.
So I was reading about actually no. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has missed the off-season workouts, has given up a bonus of $750,000.
Mm.
Yeah, by not attending. Do you guys think that has anything to do with the state of the team, or is it just, is it something we should worry? That we as fans and Ravens and the organization and the fans of the Ravens should worry about?
Honestly, I wouldn't look into it too much. I mean, we're just going to kind of chalk this one up. But I would say it raises a little bit of an eyebrow because we
No,
know
which
how
one
they.
is it? You can't straddle both sides of the fence, man. Which one is it?
What I'm saying is we shouldn't worry about it, but you should look at it. You should pay attention. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to pay attention to the actions that he's taking, because at this point, if he keeps doing this, then yeah, there's a fracture in the franchise. But if that was just a one-off, it's kind of like, all right, whatever. But you do want to watch his actions though from now on, because we know how it ended with the playoffs. So there's something there, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I would just keep an eye on it.
You bugging, man. You need to pay attention to that shit, period. You need to pay attention to that shit because as a Lamar Jackson fan, the way he ended last season, I'm concerned that you don't want to be at OTAs. Or, you know what I'm saying? I'm concerned that you're willing to take this fine and not be there after the way you ended last season. You should be here. You are the leader. You got to get this shit corrected. You got to get this shit corrected. You got to get this shit going in the right way. You got to get this offense on par.
But what if it was an emergency?
If it's an emergency, then that's something different. I respect that. Hey, life comes before any of this stuff. This stuff is it's a game. Things are
Right.
materials and materialistic. So yeah,
And
if it's an emergency, then
he's still getting his money regardless, even though
Yeah.
right.
at 750, he's to us we're like damn, but to him he's like, if it's in that situation,
For sure,
that
but I ain't
situation.
thinking about the money. I'm thinking about the fact that you ended last season with another clunker when you were
Yep.
expected to get to the Super Bowl. And when is this shit gonna turn around? When are we finally gonna see you do what you're supposed to do in the AFC Championship and get this team to the Super Bowl?
And you
Because
lost to the
it's
Buffalo
it's
Bills.
really no excuses. So how can we sit up and say is it the state of the team? Like, no, he got what he needs. He got what he needs.
So I agree with R&B. I agree that when you are in that position and you're what you call it, you're in that position and you've been a favorite to really go to the next level, which is to go to the Super Bowl, and you have failed to do so.
Multiple MVPs.
You have shown that you can ball. There were times where me and Raj, right before you came in, R&B, to the show, we would have these debates about Lamar. And my biggest hash on him was his ability to throw the football. He has improved at throwing the football. He has made smarter decisions when to run, when to throw away, when to pass. They've gotten with Derrick Henry, they have the great fake now. So they have so much going for them. And if I were him, I would be like, yo, this is crazy. Because to me, this is just my opinion right now. He is arguably looked at as the fourth best QB right now. Arguably. I personally feel, just on the consensus of what I hear, that whether we like it or not, Mahomes is still the leader of the pack, followed by Josh Allen, followed by Joe Burrow, followed by Lamar Jackson. And maybe now with now I've heard with the Eagles winning, Jalen Hurts has now entered that mix. So
I think it's a lot of people that have put Lamar over Josh though. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He got multiple MVPs. Josh Allen just got his first. And some really say undeservingly got his first because his numbers don't equate to some of the other quarterbacks.
From a talent perspective, easy. From a talent perspective, I would take Lamar over Josh Allen as well. I'm just saying the way it looks. This is just from what I've heard. You guys might listen to different people in media than I listen to, but just the consensus of it is, from a dominant standpoint of it, of sheer dominance, the way it looks. Josh Allen has done more with less to them. When they
hell no, that's not true. I would love to debate some of those people then, because that's not true.
I mean, what was it? Was it last season when Diggs is gone? He doesn't really have all these things. He went out there and he did his thing. Whereas you looking at Lamar, you got Zay Flowers, you got Derrick Henry, you got Mark Andrews. You have a lot of these different tools. So I can see why they would say that. But on the other hand,
it took them a second to get Zay Flowers too. That it took them a minute to get him a talent at wide receiver the level of a Zay Flowers. And yet and still Zay Flowers is still not Stephon Diggs.
Right, but I'm talking about last season when Diggs was gone. I'm just saying based off what I've heard recently. Prior to that, we know we had him and Diggs were like two peas in a pot.
But that's not true though, Mike. He didn't do more with less. He did less with less. Lamar did more with more.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't
Look at
know.
Josh Allen's
I would
numbers
say
last year compared to other years.
I would
He
say
got
if
other seasons where he didn't win MVP. That's way better than last year, bro.
well we know
Go look
why.
it up.
Well, but we know why Josh Allen won MVP. Voters
Because it was
fatigue.
Lamar Jackson fatigue.
Voters
Yeah.
fatigue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we know why he won. We know this.
And he played the overall good game this year. He didn't turn the ball over at a high rate like he normally do. And he had good overall numbers. He had great rushing numbers to go along with some good throwing numbers. You know what I'm saying? Nothing really popped out. He had an all around great year.
Absolutely. But
Maybe the touchdowns pop out. Touchdowns might pop out.
oh no, though I would say I'm concerned if I'm the Ravens. I'm concerned about him missing it. If it's not an emergency or something that came up with his family or something, I'm concerned. So I know we still have a slew of topics. We're coming on tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
So I at least want to talk about this last one. We can save the rest of these topics and add some more with some game 2 for tomorrow night show. But one of you guys had mentioned something about the Cowboys coach making statements. Now I have not heard these statements, so
I haven't heard the statement season.
please enlighten us.
Yeah, so a couple days ago, the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys basically came out and said that he's here to compete for a championship. That he feels this team can win the championship. So, so he sounding like a Jerry Jones clone, as he loves for them to do, which is why he brought this guy up, I believe, to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, because he ready made, hot and ready. When he had him hot and ready already. So I don't know, man. I just thought that was hilarious. That they made that they always find some type of way and reason to keep the Dallas Cowboys in the major media, keep them in rotation and being talked about. Like, who gives a fuck about whether you feel like you guys can win the Super Bowl, whether you're there to win the Super Bowl, and Pickens coming there, you're supposed to put you all over the top now when he got a whole fucking bipolar issue going on. Like, fuck out of here. Fuck the Cowboys.
So I would say to that, we've been here. We know for years now, especially under Dak Prescott. We know on paper, Dallas has had talented teams on both sides of the ball.
How you are disrespectful. If you're gonna say his name, you say his name correct.
What?
Dakota Raj Prescott.
Damn. Oh, Dakota
Raj Prescott.
No.
Damn. And listen, we know he's had good seasons and has had bad ones, but when the lights are bright, we know what the Cowboys do. When they're at listen, they'll win 12 games. They'll go 12-5 and look elite through the 13-4, look elite through the regular season, unstoppable. All their fans be all happy. They be all cheerful, like, yeah, we them boys. We got all these televised games we don't deserve. We're gonna win. And then comes that second round in the playoffs. Well, to be like the Niners or the Packers or whoever at that time. They just knock them off. Like, I'm not mad about him having a championship state of mind, because all 32 teams in the NFL should go in to the season having that same mindset.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I just don't want to hear about it.
Because
Exactly.
I take something that Stone Cold Steve Austin said on Monday Night Raw in 1998 and I apply it to every sport. Stone Cold Steve Austin said in an interview,
What?
If
What?
If you're not here to win the WWF Championship, what do? You have no reason to be here. That applies.
What?
Applies to everyone.
Yeah.
Applies to everyone. You know,
but like R&B said, we don't want to hear it. Especially from Dallas.
Especially from them boys.
Because they always think they can win the championship. And they always come up short. We haven't seen them in a Super Bowl since the 90s.
or a conference championship.
They worse than the Knicks.
Exactly. We haven't seen the Dallas Cowboys win anything since the 1900s. Oh man! And this is coming from a Jets fan that haven't won anything since they had color TVs. Before they had color TVs.
Oh shit!
I was still in the 1900s.
That's insane. That's insane. Man. But you know, I get it. But listen, they're not winning. They're not even winning their division, let alone the Super Bowl. Like
exactly.
They are by default.
I do think they could threaten to. I do think they could threaten to be second in the division, though.
Yeah, I think so. Really. With the talent, yeah, they could be second.
Right now, by default, they're the third best team in their division. Right now, by
default.
Oh, by default.
Right.
Yeah.
Washington.
Obviously, you have to put the Eagles. They won, so you will put them there. I mean, I know they lost a lot of pieces, you know, as Super Bowl teams do. A lot of players that I got what I needed. Now I gotta go somewhere and get the bag, or most teams can't afford to bring everyone back. So there's that, and we seen what Washington did. Them adding Deebo Samuel. Hopefully he can stay healthy and he'll add a good element for them. Didn't they add someone else, Washington? Because I know they're trying to get the most out of Jaden Daniels under the rookie deal. Because they already know, like that's how you know. You've seen him for one season. They know they paying this man. They know he's coming. I mean, I can't say I never seen, but what he did last season was remarkable.
It was special
because not only is he just a good thrower of the football, he's smart. He knows when to run. He knows when to slide. He knows when to take a sack. Knows when to throw out. Not saying he was perfect, but he's very smart with the way he plays. So they know they're going to pay him.
I can say it. I can definitely say it. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when I say I've never seen it, if you put it like physically, never seen, right? But not saying they're.
Yeah, we've seen some good. We've seen some great rookie campaigns.
Right. Sure. You know what I'm saying, right?
I've never seen somebody come out that plays his style of play. You know what I'm saying? That looks so good at doing it right off the bat.
Right. So when you look at that, Dallas is third, right? Because did the Giants upgrade at quarterback? Sure, but did they upgrade the offensive line? Did they upgrade the defense?
Or the defense?
Or the weapons? Like you pretty much the only thing you have outside of, Russ is still serviceable, right? Like I know that, we all know that, but the only weapon you really have is Malik Neighbors. And you abused the crap out of him and he ended up getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
At some point last season. So I'm all right with them having that mindset, as every team should in any sport. But like you said, I just don't want to hear it. I don't
Nobody
want
want
to
to
hear it.
hear it.
The only
Nobody
thing I
wants to
like
hear it.
hearing is when they get up high and then they lose, because then First Take is always must see TV. Always. I look forward to that.
Me too.
Good old country
So-
Steven, eh?
We're at about an hour and a half. I'm going to end the show here. Just don't log off. Stay backstage so we can go over some stuff, because I know you got an appointment, R&B. But I just want to go over some stuff real quick. But thank you guys for everyone who tuned in. We will be back tomorrow to go over some more topics. I'm hoping we'll be on by 7, maybe 8. Depends on how my day at work goes. But,
Likewise.
but we'll be here. So everyone, enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your family, be great, and we will see you all tomorrow evening to talk about Game 2 and some other topics. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Come on. And boom. Come on.